Welcome back. California crisis continues tonight, live from Los Angeles, a few hundred miles to our north. UC Berkeley's law school announced this month they're done hearing from any speaker who doesn't support the demise of the nation of Israel. It's jarring to even imagine, but in today's world, the left has successfully painted Jews as oppressors and basically all Muslims as victims of Jews. And once you do that, you can basically justify anti-Semitism. And 80 years after the Holocaust, it's now becoming socially acceptable to hate Jews again. Today, I spoke with a man named Mort Klein. He's the president of the Zionist Organization of America about how exactly this happened.
It is a frightening and dangerous time for many reasons in America. But anti-Semitism, Jew hatred has become legitimized and mainstreamed. In college campuses all across the country, they're promoting boycotting the Jewish state, sanctioning the Jewish state, not having economic relations with the Jewish state. And even though those movements lose those resolutions, and the most recent problem is really astonishing. At Berkeley Law School, 9 student groups, including black student groups, Asian, women groups, and gay groups, have said we will not allow anyone to speak to our club at Berkeley Law if they support the right of Israel to exist. That means virtually no senator and no congressman can speak at Berkeley Law School because they all support Israel's right to exist. Most Americans support Israel's right to exist. They can't speak there. Evangelical Christians, they can't speak there. But who can speak there according to this new constitutional law passed by these 9 clubs? David Duke can speak there.
Rabid anti-Semites.
Louis Farrakhan can speak there.
How did this become mainstream the way it has? I mean, obviously, we've watched as a lot of these groups have tried to basically create themselves as, you know, they've created a victim class for themselves, and everyone else that's, the culprits against them. How did that happen?
People on the far left, and many Muslims, I'm afraid, and others, are lying about Israel. And even the Muslims in the West Bank and Gaza, 99% of them are under their own rule. In Gaza, under Hamas, the terrorist group, and the Palestinian Authority, under the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, they have their own parliament. The Arabs of the West Bank, they have their own media, their own police force, their own schools. It's a total lie. There is no apartheid. They say no Jew will be allowed to live in Palestine.
Everybody's scared to go against it, right? Because the other side has created this idea that they are the victims, so that they are allowed to say anything that they want.
They're afraid, I believe, of violence against property and against students if they don't act softly toward them. But they should be canceling the right of any of these clubs to exist and to be funded by the university, which they do. And they should be publicly condemning them for the premise. They still have freedom of speech. They simply would be a student group without funding of the university.
Do you think anti-Semitism will become even more mainstream in culture and woke culture in this country?
You have at least a dozen open Jew haters in Congress, and you don't have the leaders of their party condemning them and throwing them off of every committee, saying we won't tolerate this. In fact, when I testified before Congress myself and mentioned this, the chairman of the committee, Jerry Nadler, I'm mentioning his name, banged his gavel down and said, your time is up.
I was horrified to see Speaker Pelosi, Leader Hoyer defend Representative Omar after her vicious anti-Semitic remarks.
The gentleman's time has expired.
He didn't let me speak.
He's Jewish.
And he's Jewish, and he stopped me from speaking against Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Cori Bush and the others, because I was criticizing the Democratic parties. The bright yellow states is the 23 Arab countries. That little tiny brighter yellow in the center is Israel. The Arab states are 800 times the size of Israel. It's a tiny, tiny country, and yet Israel's the one that's attacked. That's all of Israel, not just the West Bank and Gaza.
And a big machine.
A big Kalashnikov rifle, and the terrorist Yasser Arafat. This is the official emblem of the party ruling the Palestinian Authority. If you want to make peace with the Jewish state, is this the emblem that you choose? Every Arab who murders a Jew, they do a poster just like this, a poster of the Arab who's the Jew killer, and calling him a hero and a martyr, honoring him. And this poster is placed on universities and high schools all over the Arab areas of Judea and Samaria and Gaza, honoring them.
Obviously, a lot of progress was made for Israel under the last administration. I'm sure you supported a lot of what Jared Kushner did, what Donald Trump was a part of. A lot of that, I think, is in the process of probably being undone.
the Biden administration appointed Robert Malley to be the chief negotiator on Iran.
Yep.
Robert Malley is known to publicly support Iran getting nuclear weapons and to end all sanctions on Iran. This is, I would say, possibly the worst administration for foreign policy, especially in the Middle East, I've ever seen.
Well, thanks to Mort Klein for that. And sadly, anti-Semitism isn't just happening on the left. It's been revealed that a recent interview with Kanye West over at Fox was heavily edited to remove anti-Semitic comments. The unaired footage was obtained by Vice. Here's a look at some of what was taken out of that interview.
When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race black really are. This is who our people are. Us judging each other on how white we could talk would be like, you know, a Jewish person judging another Jewish person on how good they danced or something. I probably want to edit that out.
So no matter where it comes from, anti-Semitism cannot be condoned. I think we learned this lesson pretty well about 75, 80 years ago. Hopefully we don't have to learn it again.